Hello everyone, it is Suzanne Hart here, and this week I want to talk to you about listening. And I really wanted to talk about this topic because I think it's one of the most important skills you can garner, get really good at, in no matter what you do, as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as a friend, as a husband or wife, no matter what role you play, listening is key. And I want to really dial in and talk about quality listening because most people think they listen, and most people listen to a certain extent. But do you listen to truly understand and ensure that someone has an experience of being heard? So one of the best listeners I know is a woman by the name of Grace Kehoe. And I've mentioned Grace before, and when Grace sits down and she listens to you, she is so present that you feel like you are the only person in the room and you are the most important person in the room. And when you walk away feeling totally heard, and you have an experience that you are valued. And that is really what listening is. It is having someone really understand that I value and I hear what you're saying, and I'm really trying to grasp your perception, your point of view, and your experience. That's what listening really, really is. And so some of the things that I realized and noticed that Grace did was, first of all, she stopped. When she's listening to you, she is not doing anything else, not a thing else. So she's sitting, she's making eye contact, she's engaged with you, and you know that this woman is present and you're getting 100% of her attention. The second thing I noticed that she did was that she is listening to ensure understanding. And so she will ask a lot of clarifying questions just to make sure she's grasping what you're saying and she's not making any assumptions. Right? So she'll ask me, if I understand correctly, you mean this, you mean that. And she engages you so that you also hear what you said come out of her mouth. She reflects it back to you and you truly do feel heard. The other thing she does is she follows your lead. Have you ever spoke with someone and you're talking about one thing and then they jump onto something else and you're wondering, how'd you get over there? That's not what I was talking about. That is not the best example of allowing someone to feel heard. So one of the things that Grace does is that she follows your lead. She doesn't move from one topic to the other until she knows you're complete, or she will allow you to move from one topic to the other. And sometimes, to demonstrate the magnitude of her listening, she will bring you back to something you were talking about just to make sure she's clear, she understands you, and you feel heard, and then she'll move on with you. So that was some of the other really cool things. I think the other really one is listening to the said and the unsaid, right? And when you listen to the said and the unsaid, it is listening for the shift in energy. Sometimes I can tell when something lands for someone because there's a total shift in energy. Sometimes I can tell when someone's I've lost them, or they're lost or they're unclear because just the way their energy is in the conversation. So do you listen for the energy that's going on between the two of you? Now, many people are saying listening because listening is using your eyes and your ears and your heart. It's using all of those to ensure that you get someone, right? Are you listening for what's not being said? And sometimes how someone says something can tell you that there's something not being said. Sometimes their body language and their words aren't congruent, right? There's something coming out of their mouth, but their body language is telling you something totally different. Are you listening from that place? Now, in order for all of that to happen, it takes a level of focus and it takes a level of attention on the other person. But that is true listening, right? And that is really conveying to someone that you are willing to give them all of you as they share what's important in their life. one of the things in business, and particularly in prospecting, the person who's able to ask great questions and really listen is often the person that people will gravitate to, and they'll build relationships. Why? Because that person feels valued, they feel heard, they feel understood. So as I leave you with this, I wanted to just bring this back because we are in a time where the cell phones are so important. People are multitasking, they're doing so many different things, and they'll tell you they're listening. But their body language will tell you they're not. And oftentimes when you go back to bring back to them something that you said, they won't remember. And they won't remember not because they didn't hear it. It was because they weren't present to it, and they really weren't listening to understand, right? To take something away. They were just in the space hearing you, but not totally listening. So I'm going to invite you to take on quality listening this week, to give people 100% of your attention, to stop multitasking, and let someone know that they are so valuable to you that you're willing to stop and focus on them and ensure that they have the experience of being heard. And when someone has the experience of being heard, it's probably one of the best gifts you can give them. So take care, have a fantastic week. I will talk to you next week.